The story of Giuseppe Verdi and the creation of Nabucco is not just a narrative about music, but a powerful example of how pain can transform into creative strength and healing. Just as Verdi found in his suffering the raw material to create a work that impacted generations, each of us can look at life's challenges as opportunities for transformation. This text invites you to reflect on how the adversities we face can become the foundation for a fuller and more meaningful life. Revisiting Verdi's journey, we learn that suffering, when faced with courage and purpose, can be a catalyst for profound changes. Art, be it music, writing, or any form of expression, can help us reframe our experiences, connect with our truest selves, and even inspire others. How can we apply these lessons to our own lives? Let us explore together. Giuseppe Verdi, one of history's greatest composers, endured devastating moments before solidifying his place as a musical icon. Born in a humble village in Italy, he began his career with moderate success. However, his personal life was shaken by a series of tragic losses. He lost his wife, Margherita, and his two young children within a short period. These losses plunged him into deep mourning, and Verdi began to associate music with pain, even considering abandoning his career altogether. During this dark period, he suffered another blow with the failure of a comic opera, which was poorly received by the audience. Amid despair, a soprano who believed in his talent introduced him to the libretto of Nabucco, a story about the Hebrews enslaved in Babylon. Initially, he rejected the project, but one specific passage, the Hebrew slaves' chorus, Va Pensiero, stirred something within him. This song, speaking of freedom and hope, resonated deeply with his own pain and gave him new motivation to compose. After years of despair and isolation, Giuseppe Verdi decided to confront his pain and accept the challenge of composing Nabucco. The story of the Hebrews enslaved in Babylon seemed to echo his own feelings of emotional imprisonment and suffering. He immersed himself in the project, and every note of the opera became a way to express his sorrow, inner struggle, and renewed hope. The creation of Nabucco was more than an artistic endeavor. It was a therapeutic process. Verdi, who had been on the verge of abandoning music, channeled his pain into creating something sublime. The Hebrew slaves' chorus, Va Pensiero, became the heart of the opera, with its melancholic yet hopeful melody. The lyrics speak of longing for the homeland and the yearning for freedom, a universal message that transcended the biblical narrative and directly touched the emotions of the composer. This song was not merely a reflection of the Hebrews in the story, but also of Verdi himself, who found in composition a way to transform his suffering into art. His creative intensity was almost frenetic, as if he were channeling all the emotional weight accumulated over years of mourning onto the pages of the score. Nabucco was more than an opera for Verdi. It was a reconnection with his creative essence and a rebirth as an artist. Upon completing the work, he knew he was offering something greater than himself, something that could touch hearts and inspire generations. When Nabucco premiered at Teatro alla Scala on March 9, 1842, the impact was immediate and profound. The Italian audience, living under the oppressive rule of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, saw in the story of the enslaved Hebrews a powerful metaphor for their own reality. The opera captured the pain, longing, and hope of a people yearning for freedom, unification, and national identity. The most striking moment of the performance was the Hebrew slaves' chorus, Va Pensiero. Its words evoked images of an oppressed people who, even amidst suffering, found strength in the memory of their homeland and the desire for freedom. The powerful melody and poignant lyrics united the audience in a collective feeling of resistance and hope. For the first time, opera was not just an artistic performance, but also a political and social event. During performances, it was common for the audience to sing along with the artists, an unusual and deeply symbolic occurrence. Va, Pensiero quickly became an unofficial anthem of the Italian unification movement known as the Risorgimento. For Italians, Verdi's opera symbolized their struggle for autonomy and unity, and the composer became a cultural hero and a symbol of resistance. The success of Nabucco transcended music. Verdi, who had once considered abandoning composition, became a central figure in Italian culture. His work proved that art could be a powerful force for social transformation, uniting different classes and ideologies under a common cause. The impact of Nabucco went far beyond its premiere and the political context of the time. Giuseppe Verdi, who had transformed his personal pain into music, became a symbol of the human capacity to overcome adversity. The Hebrew Slaves chorus not only moved audiences of his era, but also became one of the most iconic pieces in the history of music. Decades later, during Verdi's funeral in 1901, a crowd spontaneously sang Va, Pensiero, celebrating not just his work, but the emotional and cultural impact it had on generations of Italians. The message of Nabucco resonated beyond Italy, touching hearts worldwide. The story of freedom and resistance remains relevant because it speaks to something universal: the human desire to break free from chains, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual. Just as the Hebrews found strength in their thoughts and memories of their homeland, Verdi found in music a path to liberation. Nabucco also established opera as an art form capable of transcending entertainment. It demonstrated how music could reflect social issues, give voice to the struggles of a people, and, at the same time, touch the most intimate emotions of an individual. For Verdi, composing Nabucco was not just an artistic achievement, it was his personal redemption. By transforming his pain into beauty, he proved that even the greatest adversities can lead to something extraordinary. Verdi's story and Nabucco remind us that pain can be a catalyst for growth and creation. Just as the composer was reborn through art, each of us can find in our own challenges the strength to overcome and transform. Verdi's legacy lies not only in his music, but in the inspiration it continues to bring to those facing difficulties, offering hope amidst adversity. With Nabucco, Giuseppe Verdi immortalized not only his musical genius, but also the message that the most precious freedom is the ability to dream, create, and transcend. His work remains an eternal symbol of resilience, healing, and transformation. The story of Verdi teaches us that even in the darkest moments, there is a path to the light. He lost everything most precious to him and nearly abandoned what defined him: music. But by confronting his pain and finding meaning in it, he transformed his life and left a legacy that transcends generations. We all face moments of suffering, and it's easy to feel as though they might destroy us. But the lesson here is clear: pain doesn't have to be the end. When we choose to face adversities with courage and acceptance, we discover a strength we often didn't know we had. Just as Verdi transformed his grief into music that inspired a nation, we can transform our wounds into growth, our sadness into learning, and our struggles into resilience. Think about it. What aspects of your life can be redefined? What within you can be strengthened through difficulties? Perhaps your pain is trying to teach you something profound, something that, if understood well, can be used to create, help, and inspire others. Finally, remember that overcoming does not mean forgetting or denying the suffering, but embracing it and using it as a foundation for a new journey. Just as the Va, Pensiero chorus continues to inspire hope and freedom, your triumph over challenges can become a living example of strength and transformation. Pain can be a starting point for a rebirth, and within you lies the power to create something extraordinary from it. Take a deep breath, believe, and allow yourself to bloom. The journey of Giuseppe Verdi and the creation of Nabucco show us that even the most challenging moments can be turned into something beautiful and meaningful. Just as he found in music a way to reframe his pain, each of us can find unique ways to overcome difficulties and create something that inspires and transforms. Now, we want to hear from you. What reflections has this story awakened in your heart? Have you faced challenges that ultimately helped you grow or discover an inner strength you didn't know you had? Share your thoughts, lessons, or experiences in the comments. Sharing stories and perspectives is a powerful way to connect and inspire one another. Your insight might help someone going through a tough time see the light at the end of the tunnel. And if you believe this story can touch others, share this text with friends, family, or anyone who might benefit from its message. Together, we can spread inspiration and show the world that even amidst pain, there is a path to overcoming and creating something extraordinary.